Try everything once, but don't make a habit out of it. How many people have heard that quote right there? I want to kind of debunk it because I strongly disagree with the quote. And I think it's a really dangerous quote if you listen to exactly what it's saying. And I think some people live by this, but if you really think about the quote, try everything once, but don't make a habit out of it. It can be misleading if you take it in the wrong way. So for example, should you try every drug but not make a habit out of it? Should you try things that you normally don't do? For example, if you're a straight guy, should you have sex with a guy just to try it once, but then just don't make a habit out of it just so you can try it once? I'm not so convinced, and I'll tell you why. So if you think about, let's say there's a guy, he lives by this quote. He says, try everything once, but don't make a habit out of it, okay? And let's say he tries all kinds of different drugs. I mean, the original plan is to try everything once and then not make a habit out of it. But that's unfortunately not how the brain works. The brain gets addicted to certain things sometimes without you even if you don't want it to, it's going to get addicted anyways. So if you understand how the brain works, you'll understand why this quote is just so bad. And some people just blindly kind of believe quotes like this and kind of change the entire trajectory of their life based on a quote like this. So I think it's really, really important to kind of mention this in video here. And I'm going to go deeper into it. But so for example, if you're one of those guys that live by this quote, try everything once and don't make a habit out of it, I want you to ask yourself, like, has that worked for you? For some people, it might have worked because maybe you don't have such an addictive kind of personality. But for some others, like somebody like myself, I consider myself to have a very addictive kind of personality. And a quote like that, if you live by something like that, it can negatively impact your life in a huge, huge, huge way, especially if you get addicted to something you try that you don't want to be addicted to. And there's no boundaries when people say that, try everything once, but don't make a habit out of it. Like, where's the line? Like, should you kill someone once and not make a habit out of it? I don't know where's the line anyways. But so what I like to live by is only try things that you plan on making a sustainable habit of. So for example, if I don't plan on, for example, snorting cocaine on a regular basis, then I'm just not going to try it. Why would I want to do that to myself? To try it once and give myself a little tease and then tell my body, you tried it once, you're never going to have it again. Or this could be any kind of drugs, right? It doesn't have to just be cocaine. It could be anything. If you don't plan to make it a sustainable habit, if you don't think it's going to be good for you, and if you don't think you can learn something from it or take something out of it, then I don't see any reason to try it once. And that's the reason why I have never tried even a cigarette or any drugs or anything like that, because I don't plan on making it a sustainable habit. So I don't see any reason to actually try it and risk the fact that I might get addicted to something like that. And then it might take years off my life and a lot of money and just everything that I don't want to be, basically. I want to be a productive person. I don't stand for just staying at home and doing drugs and wasting my day or anything like that. So I want, like, and it's funny because some people will live by this quote. I remember the original reason why this quote got brought up. I was living in Prague with my girlfriend, Arancha, and she mentioned it to me. Like, I don't know how it came up. She just said, like, there's the quote that she lives by, try everything once, but don't make it a habit. And immediately I was just like, what? Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense if you think about it. And I started explaining to her, I said, like, it's so dangerous because somebody might have told you something like that. Not talking about her now, I'm just talking about in general. Somebody might have told you something like that. Try everything once, but don't make it a habit. And without even thinking about it or without even considering if that's a real thing or not, you kind of just did it. So you're like, oh, I'm just gonna live by this motto of try everything once and don't make it a habit. And it changed your entire life because of it. And it doesn't have to be so extreme for everyone, especially if you don't have like an addictive personality. If you actually know that you can kind of try it once and then not make a habit of it, and it's not a problem for you, and you've never been addicted to anything, then maybe it might work for you. But I'd still be very careful with going with that mindset because of the reasons that I stated before. But someone like myself, like I know I have an addictive personality, so I'm self-aware enough to know that if I were to try, a certain drug and I loved the way I felt on it or something like that, it might be possible that my brain might be addicted to that. So I steer clear of those kind of things, and I think it's very important. And the point that I was touching on, what was I talking about? If you let me remember where I was, because I'm not going to edit this video. We're going to be raw here. I was talking about, so if you tell someone that, and let's say they change their entire life just based on this motto, they're like, try everything once, don't make it a habit, and then they just kind of live by it without really thinking logically, is this true or is this not true? Does this make sense? Because when I asked my girlfriend at the time, I said, where did you hear that? Like, who told you that? Or did you ever think about, does that quote make sense? And she was kind of thinking, she kind of scratched her chin, like, I'm not sure if I really, thought about it that much. It's just like somebody said it, and then you just kind of like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. Like, let me just do that, but it doesn't make any sense really if you step back and you think about it. And there are no boundaries to the quote. It could be taken in the wrong way. And like I said, if it gets into the hands of somebody with an addictive personality, then things can go bad because, try everything once. You're like, oh, well, Jack, if I tried it once and I didn't make it a habit, then it would work, right? Well, kind of, yeah, but like you're ignoring the fact that the brain gets addicted to things, and that's just not the way it works. But I'm definitely curious to hear other people's thoughts about this quote, if they think it's true, if they don't think it's true. I love to get into like a debate about this. If you guys want to leave it in the comments, and I will definitely respond to people who are saying one way or the other. Just love to start a discussion about it. But I feel pretty strongly about this specific quote here, and this is something I will do on this channel sometimes. If I hear a quote that I don't really agree with, and I think it could negatively impact someone's life if they live by it or if they actually believe it, then I'm gonna mention it on this channel, and I'm just gonna mention just all kinds of just random shit that I think is important. There's not gonna be I'm not sure how I'm gonna structure the channel or anything like that, but I'm just gonna be babbling about things that either I feel strongly about or I think that is very important for people to kind of know about. So in the future, look for videos about book reviews, which I think are just super, super important. I'm gonna make an entire video about how books have changed my life, because I think that's extremely important as well. And so be on the lookout for that. And if there's any videos that you guys specifically want to see, feel free to chat with me in the comments, and I'll definitely look to make a video that's tailored towards that. And for now, I guess we'll wrap up this video here.